here we have Mukhil. He was actually one of my students last year, and so when he asked to come back to join my class for my first thought was, man, I must have been a great instructor last year, so much so that he wants to come back. But I was very excited. He was a great student last year, like I said. He built this Wally robot, and so I was naturally very curious. I was wondering, well, what could he possibly want to build this time around? Last year, I also got to know him very well. When you teach with a student for 3 weeks on full days, you get to know them. That's 15 days together. That's what, like 90 hours a week. So we bonded over high school robotics. I did that for 4 years. And yeah, we had a lot of passion for that. And after getting to know him, I told him during our meeting, I was like, hey, knowing your experience from last year, you should really do a self-defined project. And that he did. He did a very good job at it. I'm excited to learn about that.
Hello, I'm Mukhil. I go to Buena Vista High School, and this is my project, the AI voice assistant robot. I chose this project because an STP would be a great and fulfilling learning experience. And above that, I've always been fascinated by voice assistant, like robots that we see in like fictional movies like C-3PO and Star Wars. That was kind of a how my project works, I call it M8, which is short for MAID. How this project works is it has ChatGPT integrated into a Raspberry Pi, which also has a speaker and a mic attached to it. And when I say like a keyword, it takes in that keyword and starts recording my voice. And it takes in my question as a prompt for ChatGPT, which is then processed by ChatGPT, and the response comes through this speaker. So another feature is voice-controlled servos and this LED light. How it works is I can make it turn in different directions by telling it to look at a particular direction, or by telling it to turn on the light. And I'm going to demonstrate that now. Okay, so now when I say the keyword Tom, Tom should respond. And for example, does anyone
Hello, how can I help you today?
So does anyone want to ask a question to Tom?
What's the fastest land animal?
Hey Tom, what is the fastest land animal?
The cheetah holds the title of the fastest land animal worldwide, reaching speeds up to 8.9 miles per hour.
Even though it wasn't extremely legible, it was the answer it said was correct, and that's how the voice assistant part of it works. I can also give it commands to do particular things, like I can tell it to turn its head, look left. Woo, woo. Similarly, tell it to look right or left. Look right. Yeah. And another voice-activated feature is this LED over here. I can say turn on. Turn on the light. And as you can see, the light has turned on. Turn off the light. Yeah. So, other parts of this project, I've also included LED light rings to mimic a robot, which are controlled by the Arduino Nano in here. And in this case, is 3D printed, but you might think, Mukhil, why does it look super unfinished? it's not. The answer is, this is an artistic choice. And yeah, and I felt like this makes it give that old kind of vibe, which I like. And yeah, a few challenges I faced while making this project is integrating the API key from ChatGPT and making it respond to voice commands was really hard, especially because my code only um, lets Tom listen for every 10-second interval. I couldn't tell when it's listening or not if I did not have my computer open. And this created a necessity for a future modification, which is an LCD screen on the robot, which would allow me to look at the status of the robot on whether or not it's listening. And based on that, I can just ask it questions when it is really listening. I don't have to repeat myself. Things that I learned in BlueStamp, an important thing is technically I learned how to use Python and how to, and since I've never used Raspberry Pi before, this was a great first experience. And yeah, thank you. I'm open for questions. Yes.
Have you ever thought of using like a different text-to-speech package instead of whatever you're using right now, just to make it easier for the user to understand?
I have tried to change that, yes, but it would be future modification since I didn't have much time to try to change that.
I remember last summer you did a project that used the Arduino, but it also sort of looked very quality. So I'm curious, like, what are some features that you couldn't do with the platform you were using last summer that you can now that you're using Raspberry Pi?
Yeah, so Arduino is a great starting point, but of course it has some limitations. Like for example, I couldn't have been able to integrate like an entire AI API key into an Arduino, but thanks to the Raspberry Pi, with that had more freedom, and I was able to integrate ChatGPT 3.5 into it.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure.
So instead of having the additional display to figure out if listening to you or not, can you use the LEDs that are like circles, turn them to green, so that means it's listening to you?
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Right now, the LED eyes are controlled not by the Raspberry Pi, but by an Arduino Nano in here. But in the future, I would like to integrate, I would like to get rid of the Arduino Nano and power the LED lights through my Raspberry Pi. And that would allow me to definitely do that and be a much more simpler indicator. Yeah.
I've been noticing the lights sometimes flash. Is that like a blinking feature?
That is definitely a blinking feature.
Very good.
So you said with Arduino you will not be able to call the ChatGPT API key. With Raspberry Pi you can. What's the difference? What exactly?
So an Arduino is more of a microcontroller that lets me control specific sensors and do basic calculations that I tell it to do on Arduino IDE. But a Raspberry Pi is more of a computer in itself, where I can get ChatGPT and I can integrate that. I can, since the Raspberry Pi is more of like a computer in itself, and I can use the storage on it to.
So it has more processing power, more RAM,
Yeah.
something like that.
has more processing